This episode of the Rocker Skating Podcast is brought to you by Aura. Let's be honest, breaking in new skates is kind of the worst, right? Blisters, sore ankles, the whole deal. Aura is here to make that way easier. Their skates are built with a one-piece carbon fiber shell that you can heat mold to your foot, so they fit you and not the other way around. And Aura skates have an integrated collar system, which basically means your boot bends with you while giving you the support that you need. Translation: more skating, less complaining. Visit auraskates.com to learn more. Welcome to the Rocker Skating Podcast, sponsored by John Wilson Blades. And it is time for Michelle Ellis to be back. If you all have listened to all of the recaps and the live episodes that I did in Milan, you will have known all of the recapping. So we're not going to do that because that's going to take like 5 hours.
Or more.
Or more. Lots of time. But what we're going to do today is really talk about the Olympics and talk about the experience of it all. We're going to hit on some of our memorable moments of all of the events, and we'll sort of go one by one. But what we won't do is go program by program, because that is a lot. That is a lot. But Michelle, when did you get back? Yesterday?
Yesterday, I left at 6:30 a.m. from my hotel. My flight left at 11 a.m. and I got in at 8:30 p.m. into Sacramento. So I
Oh, wow.
had many, many hours of flying.
I also
Um,
left at 6:30 a.m.
well, NBC picked us all up a lot earlier than I thought was probably
Oh,
necessary.
right. You left
But
you
in the
left the
end,
hotel. You left the
yeah,
hotel at 6:30.
yeah, the plane left the ground at 11 a.m. Yeah. I made
Yeah,
my flight with
I left the
plenty of time.
hotel. I left the
Mhm.
hotel at like 4:30, and I got to, yeah.
Oh god.
Um, yeah,
I mean,
got
that was probably really miserable, like, thing to think about, but in the end, it came out brilliantly because of the blizzard, and I think tons of people were
oh,
stranded in Milan. So,
totally. Our friend Nick McCarville is stranded in Milan. I think
oh,
he ended up
poor
taking a
Nick.
day trip to like Verona so that he could go do something different than Milan.
Ugh,
Um,
I'm gonna light a candle for him tonight.
I know. It's at least the snow has stopped here.
Mhm.
Do you feel anywhere near recovered?
No.
Okay.
I do feel recovered from my descent into Atlanta, though, which was terrifying. Atlanta did not get any snow, but they got crazy wind, and I did not hold on to my stomach on that descent. I
Oh,
apologize to the very kind Italian man sitting next to me who gave me a puke bag, but yeah. I and
uh,
as a result, I did not watch the closing ceremony. I was too busy trying to, keep my stomach together.
oh man. All right. Well, glad you're
TMI.
back in. Yeah, back. Glad you're back in one piece.
Yeah, my inner ear
Um,
has settled down, but my body is still in Milan. So,
yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, you and I were in Milan for 3 weeks. You were there, I
yeah.
think, a day or maybe a day and a half earlier than I was. So
Mhm.
you were even there longer. But I think behind the scenes, what you don't see is all the stuff that we all do. I mean, you obviously, listeners, probably see all of my typing. Um, but like Michelle and I and a lot of the NBC researchers, the let's just say the volunteers knew us very well because we were
Yeah,
almost always the
always.
ones who were in the rink.
Yeah.
Um, the practice rink, the main rink, you know,
Yeah.
it became a bit of a family of sorts, a dysfunctional family. Um,
Yeah.
but, sometimes we'd be joined by other journalists, sometimes we'd be joined by other photographers, but it's always us, and I think half of them were like,
Mhm.
"What are you actually doing here?"
Yeah. Yeah. We were
So,
there constantly, all day.
yeah,
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I brought Jackie a frizzante water and a pack of wafers from our
yep,
catering.
yep, yep.
It
That
was
was that
like
was yeah.
hours, hours and hours of practice.
I mean, one of the things that I always take with me from the Olympics is like, 1 or 2 skaters that I keep seeing over and over and over again
Mhm.
because they're in the team event, they're in the individual event, and
Mhm.
for me, this time around, it was Ruyang Zhang, and
Triple
her
sow, triple toe.
Madonna Frozen program and her triple sow, triple toe. There were
Triple sow,
so
triple
many of
toe.
them
So many. I mean,
to the point
she's
where
probably
you
done 5 in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, she's still doing them. She's probably still in the
Yeah.
practice rink doing them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was
I
a
mean,
thing.
yeah, I was so
Should we
delirious from seeing so many triple sow, triple toes that I started, like, really cheering for her in the empty practice rink. Every time she did it, I was like, "Yes! Woo!" It was
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I love her. She
You
was
know what?
she was so
Yeah,
fun to
same.
watch here.
She's just she was so happy to be there, she was always
Mhm.
excited to be on practice,
Mhm.
like and she was there from beginning to end, and I
Yeah.
remember in, uh in Pyeongchang, it was Kaori Sakamoto who took that
Yes.
honor, like, I
Yes.
remember
Oh,
all of
Cowrie.
us sitting there
Uh-huh.
watching her do all of her, skating drills and watching her
Yeah.
on the clean ice, just, like,
Yeah.
doing all these curves and beautiful
Mhm.
edges and everything, and who would have thought 8 years later we would see Kari Sakamoto win a 4th medal
Mhm.
at the Olympics.
God.
3rd and 4th.
Yeah. 3rd silver. Stabbed me in the
3rd
heart.
silver. I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but let's
Mhm.
rewind back to the team event. Um I thought that was a great start to the Olympics, and I know there are a lot of
Yes.
people who are like, the team event should go after the individual event, and I have thoughts on that one, but let's
Yeah.
actually start by talking about, like, what were some of your highlights from the team event that were
I
just
mean, I
really
made a
fun?
list, like, I had a running list throughout the Olympics of, like, what my favorite performances were, and I just went through right now and picked, like, what the top 5 were, and 3 of them were in the team event.
Wow,
It
wow.
was like a rip-roaring start. It was great. I mean, obviously, Yuma Kageyama short program in the team event.
Mm,
Out of this that was, like, some of the best skating I've seen this cycle. It was exquisite, and I just thought, like, "Oh my god, it's happening, it's happening." It
yeah.
literally did not happen again after that short program, but the short program was brilliant.
He
Um,
was so good, so
oh,
confident, like,
yes.
ready
That was
ready to just
so good.
rock it. Yeah,
Yeah. The surety in, like, every movement and just the finesse was just off the Richter scale. Um, Guinard Fabry team free dance was beautiful. I had that
mhm.
music, that last piece of their music with Georgia singing. I had that in my head for the next like 2 weeks. I would just be walking down the street and I could hear it. It just like kind of like gets into your bones. The way that they skated it so well, the crowd was so behind them. I was so happy for them and them, the 2 of them and their coach Barbara Fusar-Poli screaming in the kiss and cry throughout the whole team event for everybody. It was like they were like, you know, the parents of the team, and, that was fantastic. And then, of course, Rizzo free skate and his not just the celebration at the end, but, like, every jump he was landing and the
Yeah,
box screaming, the Italians in the box screaming for him. That I mean, that was like the I have chills talking about it. The energy in that moment was incredible. Uh,
yeah.
I think I
I
was
mean,
more
we
excited for Italy winning bronze than for anyone else in this Olympics.
yeah. Well, I mean, there. we've seen this
Dramatic pause.
a number of times. Yeah. We've
Mhm,
seen this a number of times with the team event
mhm,
being where, some of the skaters just have these out of this world skates, and then they can't
mhm.
replicate it in the individual events.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if switching the team event to the end would actually change that. I Bear with me here, because
Mhm,
the team event has a certain kind of energy that the
mhm,
individual events don't have, because you've got your teammates there, because they're so friggin' loud.
mhm,
Like the energy in the arena for every single team was so different than in
mhm,
the individual events. And I wished the individual events would have that, but because the team event is so condensed, and it's literally, in the short program, it's 10 programs, 10 programs, 10 programs, and
mhm,
you're done.
mhm,
And a lot of them are like some of the best in the world, if not the best in the world, right? In ice dance, in the rhythm dance, you literally had one, two, three, four, five skating in the rhythm dance that would
mhm,
end up being in the individual event. And it's like it's this whole thing where you just start off with a very different kind of energy, and even if you would have put the individual events at the front, you may
mhm.
not replicate that. Now, I
Yeah.
understand also the close, back to back, especially for the
Mhm,
first 2 events with the women and the men, and then even with pairs and women, the difficulty with the timing is that you are literally there all the time. Like Ruyang
mhm,
Zhang, right? Like, there were so many of the women who did either one program or both programs. Um, but four of the 5, final free skate countries, right, had a
mhm,
double women's free skate or,
mhm,
program, right? Um, that the if you're not skating in the first week of the individual event and you're skating the second week of the individual event, the issue is actually regulating your energy and making sure that you properly come down from the high of the team event,
mhm,
like reset yourself and then go into the individual event with the same kind of like energy and motivation. And
mhm.
sometimes it doesn't happen. We saw that with Yulia Lipnitskaya back in
Yeah.
2014, and we saw that with, Mirai Nagasu in 2018, and, like,
Yeah.
there are just these, like,
Gabby Daleman, 2018.
icky yeah, like, just, like,
Mhm,
the inability to really figure out how you temper and reset,
mhm,
and I think those are all really good reasons why the team event should be late, because the individual event, should in a lot of ways take up the
mhm,
the main energy for this
mhm.
very generally individual sport. Um, but my one logistical issue is that the team event is great at the beginning because it's short.
Yeah,
Like, it literally starts like the day of the opening ceremony.
yeah.
And so you can't do, even if you put the pairs short program there, you are having to do, what, 5 warm-up groups of
Mhm.
pairs short programs, and you have to have all of them there, and then
Yeah.
you have to have, like, all of that stuff, and, the very first day of the team event, you had what? You had 3 groups, well, you had 3 events,
9
and
pairs. Would be
yeah, and
10, but yeah.
they were also, like, they were different, right? Like,
Yeah.
you didn't have all of the athletes go anyway, the logistical part of having the individual events first actually makes it hard to sort of, schedule all that stuff around. Can it be done? Probably. Could
Yeah.
they move the individual events to the day after the opening ceremony? Probably. Um, but there's also just the fact that even if it's the day after the opening ceremony, you can't,
Mhm.
like, if you're a pair, you can't go to the opening ceremony,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of skaters who didn't go to the opening ceremony because they were prepping for the next day. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is a lot. I think the skaters would prefer it to be later in the schedule. I do wonder if they can, like, figure out how to schedule it properly um so that it actually works.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in hearing what the skaters feel about it. I mean, I know some of them have complained about the schedule, but I also think it's like, um, for a lot of them, it's like exciting and it builds up that momentum. And, I think, gives them like an opportunity to get comfortable on Olympic ice. I think for Alyssa, we really saw that work out for her because she had some uncharacteristic issues in her short program in the team event that I think I would probably put down to nerves. And then went out for her individual event and was just absolutely foot perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Maybe they should survey them and see what they
I
feel,
know.
see what they think. I do think it'd be fun to close with a team event, but you know, um, it's tricky. It's tricky with the schedule and um, I some of these things like I I have I, I have mixed feelings about it, like whether I would want to have do the team event and then have to skate later or go back to back really
Mhm,
quickly. Like, it's
mhm.
it's all really challenging. I mean, and they train
Yeah,
for it, but it's rough. Um
yeah. I was looking back at the results from the first 2
Mhm,
team events, and I remember there being more switching in of I saw more switching in of
mhm,
skaters than I do now.
mhm,
Partly because I think the federations have now better understood the strategy of the whole thing, and they're like, "Oh, no, no, no,
mhm,
no. We can't we can't put someone who's gonna not get us the points, right?"
mhm,
And so, like, I remember when in, Pyeongchang, when Canada decided to only sub 1 in, right? It was
mhm.
they only subbed in Gabby Daleman
Women.
slash Caitlin
Yeah.
Osman for the women. We were all like, "Wow, they're
Mhm,
really taking everybody, like, the very top in there," and now we're seeing that a lot more. We saw that with Japan,
yeah.
we saw that with the US,
Mhm,
um, like, if Italy could have done it, they would have.
yeah.
I mean, they only had 1 dance, and they only had 1
Mhm,
woman, and they put in their best pair, and they put in uh,
mhm,
their 2 guys, right? Like, they only subbed in 1 too. Like,
yeah,
there was a lot fewer substitutions that were made, and the teams really were trying to put out their very best.
yeah.
And I go back that there are a lot of people ask me about Japan and whether it was the optimal decision for them to sub in
Mhm,
Shun for Yuma, knowing that Yuma has a higher ceiling.
yeah. But Shun
But
had better scores this year.
exactly. The fact of the matter is, if you looked numerically at what they've been
Mhm,
doing this season, Shun was the best choice given
mhm,
consistency, and he nearly beat Ilya in that free skate. And,
yeah.
if it weren't for those spin levels and the step sequence that he was just, like, all kinds of rickety on, it would have been a lot closer, right, given how he
I
skated.
think Yeah, I think that the substitution that we, like, heard the most negative feedback for was Canada, and the fact that they did not put Piper and Paul in for the free dance when they were in striking distance. It's like they stuck by this
Yeah.
decision they had made long before the Olympics
Right,
that they were gonna
right.
put Lajua Laga in, and it felt kind of like, "Okay, so you guys are not prioritizing trying to get a medal here." But that was an interesting choice because Piper and Paul, having not competed at free dance, then skated, I would say, the best free dance of the night in the individual
R
event. Um,
Absolutely.
and then they got a medal, which was not for sure at all. I mean, and that was, it's just kind of an interesting strategic choice. Um,
Right, right.
yeah.
I mean, there were also people who are like, Gilles Poirier should have been in the free dance so that they could build more momentum going
Yeah.
into the individual event, and
Yeah.
turned out they didn't need that.
Yeah.
You just never know with figure skating.
Yeah.
But I also one of the things that came up a lot was the individual countries' strategy and
Mhm.
when they pick all of these things.
Mhm.
Contrary to popular belief, right, which is that they don't pick anybody until the very end.
Mhm.
It's not that they don't pick anybody until the very end. It's that their entries aren't due until the day before the event
Mhm.
starts. And so everybody will conceal their actual entries because they don't want the other countries to know about it. But like as far as I know, US Figure Skating, Skate Canada, uh JSF, like they all picked their team
Yeah.
by by the end of the Olympic selection that they had,
Yeah.
which was nationals. Um, the US definitely did it. Japan definitely did it. Canada definitely did
Mhm.
it, right? And that's why you saw the lack of a substitution for Gilles Poirier was that
Mhm.
they picked, Le Joie Le Gars to be in the team final
Mhm.
if they made it to the team final, and they stuck by it because that was how they were training, and
Mhm.
um, there was no belief or there was no plan to potentially sub them in based on
Yeah.
what it was that they were doing. Now, it
Yeah.
didn't matter in the end, right?
Mhm.
Canada wouldn't have been in a medal position anyway, even if Piper and Paul won the free dance,
Yeah.
given how it all worked out. But still, like
Still felt
they
like they were
very much were.
conceding a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wonder if going forward, as the team event has gotten more clout
Mhm.
and more importance, do you know, do countries actually do more of that prioritization? And in
Yeah.
some ways, like I would actually rather, I'd actually rather the organizers put the team event a little bit earlier than a little bit
Yeah.
later. I mean, like, we see this in the Summer Olympics with like soccer starts like 2 or 3 days before the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Like if the team event started a day before the opening ceremony or 2 days before the opening ceremony and ended and then gave whoever is the first individual event 2 days to actually rest and
Mhm.
reset and restart, that might actually be a more palpable solution to how it works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, contrary to the thought that some of these teams were decided before they got there. I mean, we heard from Ilya's team that it was very much up in the air who was doing the free skate, and I think I haven't heard from Ilya, maybe I just haven't read his comments whether or not he really wanted to do it or not. I mean, what we heard from
Mhm.
his team is that they didn't really want him to do it. But he did it, and the US won. But it's kind of interesting if he felt like he kind of had to make a choice between doing the utmost to prepare for the individual event and then
Right.
coming in for the team. Um,
I mean,
but
if I were Justin Dillon, I would have never even considered subbing anybody in. Like,
yeah,
look at what
I agree.
happened, right?
Yeah. And
What happened
honestly,
was exactly what we thought would happen.
yeah, it was also very prescient of US figure skating to put Alyssa in the short program. I was so worried they were going to put Amber because her ceiling is higher with the axle, but I think the stability of Alyssa's, performance, even an off short program for her was still very competitive. Was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Team event, I'm sure we're gonna have more discussions about this in 4 years when it happens, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the ISU doesn't completely change figure skating in the next
Yeah.
4 years.
It was
Uh,
kind of I mean, I didn't have them on my list, but I have to mention like Ellie and Danny's free skate, which like I could not believe that Ellie stood up on those throws. I mean, we were
uh,
at God knows
on
how many
everything.
practices of hers. She
Yeah,
could not stand up on those landings. I mean,
yeah,
she was just wiping, 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 and then they go out to do their program and she hits them both.
yep.
That was very impressive. Yeah. I mean, they weren't the best. They were very slow and deep landings, but she was not on the ice. She was standing up. It was
I
like
mean,
crazy.
that's as good as we generally can hope
Yeah.
for with Ellie Camp's throws. It's like,
Yeah.
they're always a little bit like,
Yeah.
is she gonna put it on her feet? And she
Mhm.
did. Um, yeah, no, they certainly, I talked about this in the recaps. I definitely would call them the MVPs of the whole thing for Team USA. If
Yeah.
they hadn't skated like that in those 2 programs, the US would have lost. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's like a whole team thing, but, like, they skated beyond their
Yeah.
expectations, right? Whereas everybody else sort of skated at
Yeah.
expectations, and they needed to step it up. Somebody needed to step it
Yeah.
up, because of all of the things that happened.
Yeah. I mean, especially like Amber being 3rd in the free skate. I mean, I think she was someone who went a little below expectations, and it was like, if they hadn't done what they'd done, that would have been it. That would have been it.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy
Well,
to
and
think about.
it also required, that's the thing, right? Like, in most situations, Amber's 137 or whatever would have been
Mhm.
perfectly fine for 2nd place, but
Mhm.
Gubanova skated so well
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
skated like a personal best, and, like,
Yeah.
those are the scenarios at an Olympics that you really have to
Yeah.
you have to be prepared for,
Yeah. There's a lot of,
and,
like,
like,
little Olympic
yeah,
moments in the team event that I feel like are just so a result of the team support and enthusiasm for each other,
absolutely,
and that's kinda what makes it,
absolutely.
like, exciting right at the beginning because it really
Mhm,
gets us
mhm,
into the Olympics.
yeah.
Um,
Larnaki Gutman's short program was
yes, was so
electric.
good.
Like,
So good.
finally she
Yeah.
goes over 70 points, and
Yeah.
it was so good. Um, it really was
Maddie
a
Schizas should have been on my list too. Her team short program was incredible. First of all, the wrong music being played and her very, immediately going and correcting them, and then like her like kind of mean mugging the music table as she's setting up her first jump, and then skating so well, getting off
and
the ice saying, "I love the
underscored,
team event." Yeah, and then
and
her reaction to her
underscored.
low ball score. Oh my god, that whole thing was like it was incredible television. It was great. It's great. Um, yeah. And
Oh,
our little podcast fave, Gia Shin, just being amazing in that short program and creating some drama with her like 4th place finish.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
I enjoyed the team event being first very much, but I appreciate also the skater's perspective that it's like, oh, I wish we didn't have to do this right away. But
Yeah, agreed.
yeah.
As a viewer, I
Mhm.
loved that we start up with a bang. Like, it really
Mhm.
was an electric start to
Mhm.
what would be a whirlwind of an Olympics in figure skating, as it
Yeah.
always is.
Yeah.
And let's start with the dance.
Oh my god.
Mhm. You know
Oh.
what? I'm gonna
You
start with
know
the
what?
rhythm. I'm gonna start with the rhythm dance. Let's start with
Okay.
the rhythm dance because this feels deja vu from 8 years ago, where I was so like, "Oh my god, all these Despacitos and all this, like, it's all the same Latin music that we're
I
hearing
think there were
over and
only
over
like
again."
17 Ricky Martin programs this time.
Yeah, I know. No, there were 3, which was hilarious. Um,
That's it. I
yeah, that
know.
was it. And
Mm.
and I got to these Olympics, and I thoroughly enjoyed the music selections in the rhythm dance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also appreciated the in-house DJ playing all the music we weren't getting in between. We heard a
I
lot of Ace of
know.
Base. We heard a lot of Believe by Cher. Yeah.
Yeah. I the One of my highlights from all the entire thing was still the
Mhm.
back to back to back of Zinkas Kolesnik doing their Belle Biv DeVoe, and then
Mhm.
Reed and Ambrulevicius doing I'm Too Sexy, and then Piper and
Yeah.
Paul doing Supermodel. Like, yeah, the
Yeah.
catwalk. Yeah,
Yeah.
it like
Uh-huh.
those 3 going back to back to back, and I think they did, at definitely Zingis Kolesnik and Reed Eberlevicius did go back to back,
Mhm.
was so electric. They were all so good, and it was Piper and Paul did that supermodel program the best that I've seen them do it,
Mhm.
and
It was so much better than the team event. It was so good. I mean, that was by
yeah,
far the best of the season. It was
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Um, I honestly thought they were a little bit underscored. I didn't really understand why they were getting an 86. I thought it should be a little bit higher.
yeah,
Um, a lot of the scoring at this Olympics was interesting, but yeah, that
yeah.
was the best for them from them
That
by
I
far.
mean, that that program finally figured itself out, and
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
a lot of it was Piper. Piper
Yeah.
really carried that program because she gave it face. She gave it the attitude,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was fantastic, really fantastic to see. Um,
I
but a
loved
lot of
the
really good
as
skates.
response online to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a blonde girl and a gay can accomplish anything together.
And then, of course, the number of people who still had to justify that Paul Poirier, engaged to a man, is not
Oh my god,
straight.
yes! The women were so thirsty for him, I loved it. Wait, didn't someone tweet, like, they saw someone in front of them in the stands Googling "Paul Poirier girlfriend"?
No.
"Is
I
Paul
had coffee
Poirier
with
have a wife?"
I had coffee with Paul afterwards, and he was a little
Yeah.
flabbergasted about the whole thing too.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I thought that was great. And then there was actually, besides the 3 Ricky Martins,
yeah.
there was a lot of variety going on
Mhm,
in that. I wish there were more variety.
mhm.
Um, but like that theme was made for people of our generation because we were 90s teenagers,
Yeah,
and I appreciated it. Uh,
mhm,
but we're gonna go
mhm.
back to a waltz next year, hopefully.
Thank
That's what's
God.
gonna happen.
Thank God. That we're gonna see some raggedy golden waltzes, though. These teams are out of practice. That dance is hard. It's funny, I, like, grew up watching dance, watching the Golden Waltz, like, and everybody's competed it over the years, but then you go and watch Klimova and Ponmarenko do it, and you're like, "None of these people know how to do this dance." It's like it's freaking hard. It's
Compulsory
unbelievable.
dances are so like those really difficult compulsory dances are so
Mhm.
tricky.
Yeah.
So tricky to
Yeah.
do.
And the Golden
Um,
Waltz has so much weird stuff in it too. There's, like, a shoot the duck in there, and there's just, like, all kinds of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what
I,
happens next year.
Yeah. I think of all the performances that, Fournier Beaudry and Cicerone had at the Olympics, their individual rhythm dance was probably the best one. I had not seen them skate live before this Olympics, and it was really interesting watching them practice because they are so unbelievably aggressive in practice to the point where I felt like Guillaume was almost being reckless. I mean, they were so throwing down every single practice. It was it was unbelievable to watch them, how good they were, how aggressive they were. And then I felt each time they competed, they really held back from what we'd
Yep,
seen in practice.
yep.
Um, and I thought the individual rhythm dance was probably the closest we got to what we saw in practice, but still was not like at that
But it
level.
it it
Um,
was still like 80%, I thought. Like
mhm.
the team event version of that rhythm dance was like 60%. Like they were
Yeah.
so tight.
Yeah.
Guillaume especially was very
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
And you saw it in the twizzles, you saw it in the lifts, you saw it in
Mhm.
just like their power. Like you said, they are so assertive in practice,
Yeah.
and you don't see that kind of assertiveness in the actual event, and it really
Well,
does.
yeah, we didn't see it in Milan. I haven't seen them in person elsewhere.
Right. Yep.
But that was very, like, pronounced to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. Another, uh, wonderful result of the rhythm dance is our faves from Sweden with their Ricky Martin program made it into the free dance. I wasn't quite sure they were going to, but some other teams unfortunately helped them out and
Right.
they got in. And I loved how they, Mila Rudreitan and Nikolai Meyerhoff, I'll say their names, they like kissed at the end of their program. And then it was like on the front page of a Swedish newspaper the next day. It was adorable.
It,
Yeah.
the entire arena went out of their minds when they kissed at the
Yeah.
end of the rhythm dance.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the first time you've seen people kiss? Like, but
Yeah.
I guess
I
it
don't
was
know.
early on, right?
Yeah. And I feel like with like, I don't know, I want to say like normies, people that don't watch skating all the time, like the idea of like a couple that skates together actually being in a relationship, they find that like really sweet.
Yeah,
I know like of my friends, it's like when I make them watch dance, they're like, are they dating? Are they married? Like it's like special to them. Um, and I had the opportunity to finally meet Mila and Nikolai. I'd never interviewed them before as a dance team and talk about like their partnership and how they came together. And it's really, I mean, they're skating to Romeo and Juliet, and it's like their tryout was even star-crossed. Like just from their first steps on the ice together, they described this like instant chemistry and connection they had, like just like their personalities and their skating skills. It was really cool, and I could understand after talking to them why they've made so much progress in such a short amount of time together.
yeah.
I'm an even bigger fan than
I
I
mean,
was before. So
weren't you also saying Tracy Wilson was like a really big fan of
yes,
theirs?
yes. It was delightful having Tracy at these Olympics. I haven't worked with her on commentary since like Sochi, and to have her at practice and like watch all these teams practice with her and listen to her reaction to them was just like I was so lucky. I was so happy. It was great. But yeah, she loved them and thought that they were just so talented. And yeah, it was cool getting to experience all of that with her and through her lens. But
Yeah. Um, I was sitting next to Nathan Chen a few
mhm.
times during the event,
Yeah,
and
we got you on our show.
you got the side of my laptop on the show.
Yeah, we got your elbow on your laptop, but I was like, he's next to Jackie.
Oh,
Look
you
for
got my
Jackie.
elbow. Oh my God,
I'm pretty sure we got your
you got my
elbow.
elbow.
Yeah. Yeah. Famous elbow.
Um, but no, no, but Nathan was like, I don't think he's ever watched so much dance in his life.
Yeah.
He watched the entirety of the rhythm dance and the free dance.
Wow. You got
And
him.
when Nikolai and Mila came out and skated,
Mhm.
he was like, "Didn't I compete against him?" Like, "Yes, you did." Um,
Yeah.
and he said, "Wow, he is a really good dancer." Like, he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know that much about ice dance, but like he he
Mhm.
obviously worked with Shaylin Bourne, who is an ice
Mhm.
dancer and like understands
Yeah.
all of like the like how she moves and stuff. And he looked at Nikolai and was like, this kid's good."
Yeah.
So that was something. And then I told him
Mhm.
about Alexander Meyerov. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're brothers."
Well, it's funny because Adam Rapon was up in our booth watching, and he was like, "He looks amazing," like, about Nikolai. "He looks like he's 18 years old. He looks so young." And then we realized, like, later on, he was thinking of Alexander Maiorov. Like, he thought
Uh-huh.
that I was like, "No, no, there's another one."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very different people, but very
Mhm.
similar people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, okay, we gotta talk about the results of the free dance. And
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. My take on it was Chalk and Bates skated incredibly well, like almost as well as they could have skated, whereas
Mhm.
Fournier, Beaudry, Cicerone had three visible mistakes, two of which I saw. The third one I didn't see until I looked at the replay because I was like
Mhm.
literally right on top of them as they
Yeah.
were doing their twizzles and their serpentine steps, so I couldn't see
Mhm.
it. Um, and also, I thought Piper and Paul should have won the free dance. So those were my three thoughts
Yeah.
from the event, and I thought overall, Chalk and Bates deserved the win over Fournier, Beaudry, and Cicerone, if only by the point margin that they were beaten by, because of the mistakes and because of the tentativeness of the whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
would love
went
your thoughts
and
on it.
Yeah, I rewatched the top 3 free dances today on YouTube, on, like, the Olympic channel, because in the moment when I was working on it, I really watched Piper and Paul closely, and I was so engaged in their program, and then the entire, like, next 2 skates, I was watching, but I was also, like, keeping track of scores, comparing scores, crunching numbers, so I wasn't, like, fully just immersed in watching. I agree, Piper and Paul were just they were so good. They had the freedom and the emotion in their skate and just like, just living in that performance. I don't really understand why they scored so far behind Chalk Bates. I mean, I would have had them closer to where the French were. They were just they were great. It was the best they skated in a long time, and it was just beautiful. Um, I you know, I do feel that oh my gosh, it's, like, hard to say this. I do think it was right that the French won overall. I will say I do think it was judged on practice a little bit. Like I mentioned, the practice was so out of this world. I really feel like the judges came to that free dance expecting to give them a 138, a 139, then saw the mistakes, and then brought their scores down on those elements that had the mistakes, and everything else just flew. I think that their ice coverage, their power, their skating, if you really look at the like 1 foot turns and the way they move through that, I can really understand why they were kind of just held and judged on a different echelon than the other 2 teams. And the scores did account for the mistakes. Like if you looked at those elements, they were accounted for. It's hard for me to decipher like what I think should happen versus like what I knew was going to happen and then saw happen. Like I was very like I think clear with like NBC and like in our production meeting before the free dance. I'm like the French need a major error, like a major error on an element. A bunch of little mistakes aren't going to be enough. And I feel like I came to that conclusion just by looking at season's best scores and the way teams were scoring. Like if you looked at um Guillaume and Laurence's season best scores on their free dance elements, the first like 3 or 4 of them they got at the Grand Prix final. And it's like they
Mhm.
were on track to get that like 138 plus score at the final until they had the mistake. And so and then when you looked at like the way the scores were coming in the rhythm dance, Maddie and Evan got like season's best scores on like their first 3 rhythm dance elements in the team event. And then in the individual event, they were like half a point off each one of those elements as they came in. And I feel like that just showed, like, what the judge's mindset was. So it's like I could tell the panel was planning to put them second. Whether I
Mhm.
thought they deserved to be second is, like, hard for me to
Mhm.
hard for me
Yep,
to
yep,
say.
yep.
Um, I yeah, but I I think the French needed to have I saw the mistakes, and I do think the mistakes were accounted for. I think they needed to make bigger mistakes to lose. Um, it's hard too because I feel like Maddie and Evan were very clean. They really did everything they could do. I just feel like their ice coverage and their speed and just the power and the depth of their edges, it just wasn't the same. Um, it's hard and it was really hard seeing how upset they were afterward. That was
Mhm,
like
mhm.
crushing. I felt like terrible for them. And it kind of made me question my feeling going through watching the programs and like my takes on what was happening. And it was like, I don't know. It was emotionally very complicated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
I still don't know definitively what I feel. Yeah.
yeah. I think the thing that I have continued to talk about this season especially is one of the big reasons that ice dance has evolved the way that it has evolved over the past 20 years as
Mhm.
the IJS has taken a foothold is
Mhm.
because all of these things are judged element by element,
Mhm.
and in order for you to get big scores, you have to do very well on the elements, and
Yeah.
that's what teams like Chalk and Bates, Fear and Gibson, that's what they really thrive on, right? To
Mhm.
compensate, if you will, for
Yeah.
some of the things that they're not as good at as some of the other
Mhm.
teams. And so that's the whole thing about, like, Maddie and Evan and Lila and Lewis are like very good at taking feedback and incorporating it into
Yeah.
their routine their programs. That is one of the reasons why both of those teams have had the success that they've had. And you know, the fact is that there are things that Chalk and Bates do that are some of the best in the world, including the lifts. And I think as Laurence and
Well,
Guillaume are yeah,
you say that, but that is not actually what's reflected in the season's best scores.
that's what that's the thing that I had
Yeah.
kind of issues with here is
Yeah.
that the as much as Laurence and Guillaume are superior in things like twizzles when they do them well and one foots when they do them well, right?
Mhm.
Maddie and Evan are superior in the lifts when they do them well and the creativity of those types of elements that I don't think that
Mhm.
is pro- properly reflected in the scores that we have been seeing for those
Mhm.
individual elements relative to all of the other teams. That's one of the things that you know, even if you give them lower component scores on their skating skills, for example, and I agree with you that their skating skills are probably scored a bit too high relative to everybody
Mhm.
else. They should be compensating for it by the creativity and the difficulty of these
Mhm.
very big elements, right? The lifts, the
Yeah.
choreo sequences and all of those things that they do work a lot on. And it shows when they do it in their programs that that they don't maybe properly get credit for. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a little bit of what do you do with that, right? Because
Yeah.
on one hand, we know that what some of their scores are over what they should be, and then some of their scores are lower than what they should be,
Yeah.
and it's like, what do you do with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that, like, really makes a big difference in the points is the combo curve lift. Both teams have a combo curve lift in their free dance. Curve lift combo, so
Yep,
it's like an
yep,
S shape. And Guillaume and Laurence's season best score on that is, like, almost a full point higher than Maddie and Evan, and that's, like, a question mark. You know, you look at them and it's like, do you agree with that? Look at it and, like, compare those. And then when you look at what they actually scored in Milan, the French duplicated their season best score, 15.7. Maddie and Evan improved theirs, but they're still at a
yeah,
15.29. So it's like that's a gap that is like a point gap. And it's like, you know, where's
right.
that coming from?
Well,
Mhm.
like you talk about ice coverage, right?
Mhm.
That's where Chalk and Bates have a lot of ice coverage. That
Mhm.
curve to curve combo lift in their rhythm in their free dance
Mhm.
goes all the way around the rink.
Mhm.
Whereas Laurence and Guillaume's is very in the center, and it's very
Mhm.
difficult because he is on hydroblade and he switches curves,
Mhm.
but it is also a much smaller lift than
Yeah.
Chalk and Bates lift is.
Yeah.
So again, like, is everything relatively scored in the right way? I just don't really know, and I think that's part of
Yeah.
the part of it been part of my frustration with the scoring is that it's like, okay, well, this team goes up and they get a 5, or this
Yeah.
team goes up and they get a 2, and it's
It's
like,
sort of like
like
they get a 5 just for doing it.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, what do you do with that? But it's also the reason why like teams like Olivia and Tim and now Singus and Kolesnik, right? Like they're
Mhm.
getting some of the bigger scores in the free dance because they are being rewarded for some of the like
Mhm.
Wazingas and Kolesnik, the assertiveness of their movement and
Mhm.
how they do their stuff. With Olivia and Tim, some of these things are just like, how are you actually even creating these elements? They're just
Yeah.
so unique.
Oh my god.
Um,
Olivia and Tim's choreo lift at the end of their free dance is like every time I see it, I'm like, "How are you doing that?" And then I
how
saw a
does that
video of
work?
yeah, like a couple on Instagram trying to replicate it, and the
Yeah.
woman couldn't even get her head in the position. Like, she was gonna break her neck, and Olivia commented on it and said, "Please be careful." But even if I could get in that position, I would just be hanging there behind him, just hanging. I couldn't pull myself up. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah.
It is it is what the free dance especially and the IJS is trying to reward. It's trying
Yeah.
to not have these cookie cutter programs that all look
Mhm.
more or less the same.
Mhm.
Um, and, you know, you see, like, the Tashlers doing a 1 foot that is very different
Yeah.
and unique in their movements, and they don't get credit for it. Or, you
No.
know, it just it makes me just kind of like, "Why are we doing this if we
Mhm.
are not using some of these elements and the way that these are scored to what how they're supposed to be used?"
Mhm.
Like, yeah, sure, give Maddie and Evan a +2 on their Twizzles because that's what they probably deserve, 2s and
Mhm.
3s on their Twizzles. Give Laurence and Guillaume 4s and 5s if they're doing their Twizzles correctly.
Mhm.
Um, like, you should, but you should then also do the same thing for, like, some of these other elements that are very different.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation I think we are gonna continue to have, and I do wonder how it's going to change over the next 4 years as they are
Mhm.
again, resetting what ice dance is gonna look like.
Mhm.
Shall we move on to the men? Oh, I don't have a bottle of wine today, so
Wait, let me see if there's anyone else I wanted to talk about in dance. Let me just check my list. I think we got everybody. I think we got everybody. Hearing LaBouche in the Olympic arena was incredible, and I wore a LaBouche shirt, as
Yes,
people may have seen on your Twitter, and I talked about LaBouche so much when Christina and Anthony took the ice. Tracy Wilson was like, "And they're skating to LaBouche." I was like, "Yes, yes, I did it."
I this is a total aside, but I still can't get over the fact that there was one year when, Amelie Lacoste, is that her name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No. Was it Amelie Lacoste? No. Somebody was skating to actually, it wasn't Amelie Lacoste because they were skating to Amelie. Somebody was skating to Amelie. No.
yeah.
Somebody was skating to something. No, it was Amelie Lacoste. She was skating to Chocolat. And, and Tracy Wilson said, "And here is skater's name. Skating to chocolate." And I cannot get that out of my head. Tracy Wilson, I love you,
Yeah.
but also she's not skating to chocolate. She's skating to chocolat. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 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 okay. Yeah, yeah.
uh, oh, Fear and Gibson and their mistake.
Oh, that
I,
was the
I,
you know what's crazy is that they were cooking that Lila was cooking that for 2 weeks. Every day in practice, that forward outside twizzle in the free dance,
yeah,
it was getting worse and worse, and she just could not
it was in
shake
her head.
that
It was
demon
so
off
in
of
her
her.
head. It was so in
Yes,
her
to
head.
the point where then she started getting tight on the twizzles in her rhythm dance, which originally weren't bothering her.
Yeah.
And it was awful because that twizzle mistake in the free dance was the worst twizzle she'd done all week. She was working so hard on it, and it was like, oh. And then, we have cameras on all the practice rinks and everything, and my friend was like, she's in the truck working for us during one of the shows, Cindy, and she told me that she could see on the practice rink camera that Lila and Lewis were in there after their event was over working on twizzles.
Yeah.
And Lila was drilling those twizzles and like Lewis was giving her feedback. It's like,
Yeah.
they work so hard and it was like it, to watch that one element just completely unglue them like that was really tragic. Um, yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I
Mhm.
hope they can recover at Worlds.
Mhm.
You know, they were also the ones in the practice rink after the event was over too, like
Mhm.
over and over again, just like working
Yeah.
on their skating skills, working on
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah. I am pretty annoyed with the way that Lopereva and Brissot were scored at this event. I felt that they were hosed in both programs. I was very frustrated with the numbers they get. I feel like it's kind of political too because they're the number 2 French team, but I would hope that in the next cycle they get more respect and yeah, continue
I
doing
did remember
innovative material.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
remember that their free dance was a little messier than I've seen them.
Yeah, but there were some other messy free dances in this event, and,
No,
you
agreed.
know,
Agreed. Agreed.
the rhythm dance was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, men.
men. Whose idea was it to have the men's free skate on Friday the 13th? Like, clearly, was someone like, was this a joke? Like, how many layers of approval did this go through? And no one was like, that's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea. That never happened, you know?
Yeah, it was a little much. Um,
Yu Shang Li of Taipei, iconic qualification for the free skate, incredible videos with his grandmother. Love the pictures of him crying. He was so happy. I'm so happy for him. Um, Props to Taiwan and to him for just making it here and yeah, skating 2 awesome programs. That
like
quad toe
his
he did in the
2
free skate was
best.
his best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, you and I kept sitting there being like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
he shouldn't even do that triple axel because it's
yeah,
not gonna get called," and
yeah.
he got a cue on it, and it was great,
Mhm.
and he made it into the free skate. He wouldn't have made it to the free skate without that cue triple
Yeah,
axel. If he had only done a double axel, it would have been
yeah,
very different.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, he skated well, Donovan skated well, like, the first 2 I remember were like,
Mhm.
"Hey, we're off to a good start," and then, oof, um,
Uh, Short program-wise,
short
Torgashev
programs are
and
great.
Naumov were both amazing.
Yeah.
Naumov was incredible. He was so lowballed. And then Torgashev did 2 very, very strong programs here,
Yeah.
which, like,
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was gonna happen, and it did. Um
He also, by the way, finished 8th in the short, 9th in the free, and 12th overall. So,
We need the
Menning
Menning
was
index.
Menning oh god, I gotta finish that Menning index.
Yeah,
Um, I've been tweaking it, but
yeah.
there was just so much ridiculous
Oh my
movement.
god.
Steven
Ugh.
Gogolev got 2nd in the free skate.
If he had gotten a higher level on one of his spins, I think he would have been on the podium.
I mean, it was so close
Yeah,
with 3rd, 4th, 5th. It was a point a point and a quarter
yeah.
between 3rd and 5th.
It's just
Um, I just I
yeah,
I don't wanna rehash the whole thing because you and I are just gonna get nightmares.
yeah.
Um, but I do remember the short program being so good for the
Mhm.
men.
Adam
Um,
Xiao Fa.
oh my
Who
gosh, I
was
have
that? Where did that come from? That
and
was
the thing was
incredible.
he's been skating so well in practice this week
Yeah,
or that week. I think this
yeah.
week, that week, and he went out and was just so tight
Mhm.
in in the opening of that free skate.
Ugh,
But his
the
short
short was
program
so
was
good, though.
phenomenal.
I was like, I really got it. I could see it when he did it. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's all coming together."
You know who was lowballed? Junwan Cha. He was
Oh my
lowballed.
god. I was ready to go down there. After he got those scores, I was ready to go down to the ice level and have some conversations. Like, those components he got were criminal. Criminal. I am pressing charges. He was glorious in that short
He
program.
was. He really was. That
He
was
was
one of the
great
best
in both
programs.
segments, even when he climbed the wall on his quad toe fall in the free skate, it was fashion. You know, it was great. He was fantastic.
And then
Ugh.
we find out after all of that was done that his ankle was being drained.
Yeah, he has, like, necrosis in his ankle or something. My
Oh my
god.
god. This poor guy.
Yeah. I mean, you would never know it from the beauty of his performances.
I mean, look at what happened. He was 4th with a
Mhm.
273.92. Had he been
Yeah.
properly scored in the short program, Junwan
He'd
Cha
have a
would have been an
medal.
Olympic medalist.
I am pressing charges.
Yeah. Grand
Yeah.
theft larceny.
Yep, totally was. The
Grand
nation of
larceny, whatever it's
Korea,
called.
South Korea, has been robbed.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Steven Gogolev, though,
Yeah, wow.
if there was anyone who has had a dream Olympics, it was Steven
Yeah,
Gogolev.
yeah. Getting to do the both segments of the team event and then skating that well in the individual event, and his short program going viral in Brazil,
Oh,
and
is that
then
right?
yeah, so the
Because
host
he was robbing
broadcast I
a
saw this.
bank?
Yeah, I saw this. No, there's, like, a lot of aspects to it. Like, the host broadcaster in Brazil uploaded it to their TikTok account, and it got, like, 3 plus million views. They liked the concept, the robbery thing. They liked his suit. They liked how handsome he is, and they said he looks like this character named Sanji, Sanji. If you look this character up, it is Gogolev in that program. He is, like, a very blonde, chiseled, tall guy in a suit who's looking kind of sinister,
Oh
like
my
he's up to no
god.
good. I mean, it's, like, crazy. Yeah. Um, Gogolev was fabulous, fabulous.
He was.
I He's gonna get a medal at Worlds. This is not our Worlds preview yet, but he's coming for it.
Ooh,
4 clean
early
programs, most guys can't even do 2.
and he's got more. He's got more in
Yeah,
him because
yeah,
we know he can do a quad loop
yeah,
because he also took one of my quad loop pins.
yeah,
And we know he can do a quad Lutz.
and a triple axel
So
half loop quad sow.
and a triple axle half loop quad sal. I mean, this kid, we knew when he was a junior skater that he was something special, and then he had
Yeah,
all these injuries, and now he's finally not injured.
yeah. Yeah. He had to spend, like, 5 years just getting taller and getting injured
I
and
know,
then
I know.
not being able to compete. Yeah.
I I
Um,
think these next 4 years, I'm hoping we're going to see Steven Gogolev at his
mhm.
peak
Yeah.
because he can
Let's go.
really, really be good.
Mhm. Kirilo Marsak had an incredible short program. That was, incredible. So
Yeah.
good.
So much potential. He's got a beautiful quad Lutz that,
Yeah.
that we didn't see
We
in.
saw a lot of quad lutzes in practice that did not translate to Olympic
Yep,
ice.
yep, yep. Um, yeah, he had a number of beautiful quad Lutzes in
Yeah.
practice. I took a video of one of them and sent it to him,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Thank you." Like, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was very good."
Well, I was up in our booth because the NBC booth was, like, on the 2nd level, it was pretty high, and I could see this guy in practice doing quad lutzes, and they were gorgeous, and I was like, "Who is that?" And I couldn't see from up above, I just saw he was, like, a dark-haired guy and very thin, it's like half of the field, so I had to look in the practice groups, and I realized it was Fadir Kulish,
Yeah,
who has his quad lutz is gorgeous,
yeah, yeah.
and, he did not unfortunately, did not land it in the short program. Um and, I also wanna say in memoriam, Vladimir Litvinsev's Joker program did not see Olympic ice, and that was heartbreaking. Um, God. I mean,
I still
maybe
don't
that's
even
why
know what
everything went so
happened.
bad.
I know. I still don't even know what happened in that short program.
Mhm.
Like, he went and balked on
Yeah.
the entrance to his quad toe and had to go
Mhm.
all the way around and do that quad toe, and I'm surprised he even landed it, and then he w
Yeah.
the what was supposed to have been triple flip, triple toe, it was like triple flip
Dot,
and
dot, dot,
waited
dot,
for,
dot,
like,
dot,
10
dot, dot,
seconds and then did
dot,
a
dot, dot,
single
single
toe,
toe. Ugh, I wish he had sent
which
that
was what
single toe to Cowrie.
to Kaori Sakamoto, yes.
Hold your landing and do a
Yeah,
single toe.
like, Kaori, did you not watch Vladimir
Ugh.
Litvintsev in the short program? Uh,
I wonder if it's because he changed his program and he went back to his old Game of Thrones program, if it threw him off. I don't know. And Volchkova was there. She got her visa. It was like, oh,
I
everything's
know.
should be going well, and it's not.
It's very
Yeah.
sad.
Um,
Ugh,
Yuma broke my heart twice. The way Yuma's short program was scoring, he was on track to beat Ilya because Ilya, I think, was really tight in his short,
yeah.
and the way Yuma was scoring higher in his first, like, 3 elements than he even did in the team event, and it's like, they're gonna let him win the short program, he's gonna win the short program, and then he steps out of the quad sow. It's
Yeah.
like, "No.
No, the triple axle, triple
No."
axle.
Oh, it was a triple axel. It was a quad sow in the,
Quad sow on the free skate. That
free
was that
skate.
was the that was the thing that just, like, unraveled the entire
Yes.
program.
The triple
Uh,
axel was like, ugh.
yeah.
Yeah,
He had it. He really did.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was I hate to say this was Yuma's to lose
It
after all
was.
that.
It was his to
Um,
lose.
and and he had the luxury of going before Ilya too,
Mhm.
and just I'll tell you, if like quad sow step out aside,
Yeah.
had he just stayed on his feet on that quad flip,
Mhm.
because he landed it and he slipped off
Mhm.
the edge on the landing because he was too far back. Had he just kept that on his feet, I think it would have been a very different program for him.
Mhm.
But once he
Yeah.
fell, I think he just it set off alarm bells in his head, and
Yeah.
he just really couldn't get it back, and it was like
Yeah.
there was one little mistake after another,
Yeah.
and you could just see he just it wasn't there for
Yeah.
him.
I know. I was oh my god. Um, and Ilya finally going last was like I don't know how all that happens. So I was thinking about Torino, and I was thinking about how everyone before Plushenko was, like, struggling. And then I thought about, in the women's event, how Nikolai Morozov was watching these women practice and saw they're not doing triple triples, and he told Shizuka triple double in the short. And then he sees in the free skate, and he's like, "They're not doing triple, just do triple double, just do triple double." And I'm like, "Are they telling Ilya to take some content out? Because he really didn't need it." Doesn't seem like they did though, or he wasn't willing to. I don't know if they made the plan before and they weren't gonna change it, but once he missed that quad axel, it was like, I thought, "Oh, he's gonna skate well. He's mad. He's gonna
I
be mad he
know,
missed that," but
I know. Well,
God.
and then he landed the next one just fine. The quadlets was
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Like, that should have settled his nerves,
yeah.
but I think to your point about the plan,
Mhm.
the problem was they didn't have a because he has so many permutations that he can do.
Yeah.
They didn't have, as far as I can tell, they didn't have a plan for him to say, "This is exactly what you're gonna do," because I think he
Mhm.
came down for that quad loop or triple loop, and he in
Mhm.
his mind, he was like, "Should I do a triple? Should I do a quad? Should I do a triple? Should I do a
Yeah.
quad?" And then he, like, couldn't make up his mind
Mhm. And
and
then he
then
has a
doubled
double.
it.
I mean, I feel like you
And
tell
it
him before it takes the ice, triple axel, triple loop, and then just
Yeah,
do everything else and just be
right.
clean.
But I think they wanted the quad axle on Olympic ice because he
Yeah.
hadn't done
They
it,
wanted the 7 quads. Crazy.
or at least the quad axle.
Yeah. And then Sarah told me she thought that Ilya seemed like he was thinking about where to put the quad axle back in, and that was kind of pulling him off, you know? And then we saw him in practice doing quad sow, half loop, quad sow step quad axle.
Oh my
Was he
god.
thinking about that? Like, crazy. But
I
anyway,
mean, it wasn't even just a mistakes, right? Like,
yeah.
we've seen him do this kind of melty downy kind of thing at
Mhm.
nationals. If you remember those 2
Mhm.
nationals that he won that, like, he didn't really skate that well, but
Yeah.
at least he was rotating stuff. I think that, like,
Yeah.
there was one nationals where he doubled a couple things, but he was still rotating stuff.
Yeah.
But the singled axle, the doubled loop, the doubled sow that was a fall without a combination, and then the Lutz that didn't have a combination, like, all of
Mhm.
that, like, you add all that up, that was 50 to 70 points.
Crazy. Oh, I think I calculated it against his Grand Prix final scores. He gave up 76 points on the jump mistakes, which is like it's more
And
than most people get in the short program.
he didn't need
Yeah.
76 points. He needed
No.
30 he needed
Yeah.
25 points
Yeah. Yeah.
or 27 points or whatever. Like that
Yeah.
was the difference between him and Misha Shidorov. Like he
Yeah.
didn't need to blow it out of the water, and I think that was the biggest thing was
Mhm.
like, yeah, he got 3 quads done. That's all he really needed. If he just did
Yeah.
triples for the rest of those, he would have been fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Now, Shidorov, like, holy cow. I mean, uh, he looked like he was in shock. One skater after another going after him, going behind him. I mean, he, like, couldn't believe it. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I
Nobody could
love the
believe it.
I know. I love the shot of, uh, when he was just sort of sitting there, just, like, not emoting, like, not making a facial expression, and Romanov is whispering in his ear something, and it's like he's like, what's he telling him? Like, "You won the Olympics," and Shidorov's like, Who? Like, what?" I will say, I was really it warmed my heart to see the support for Kazakhstan in that arena, both in the short and the free. The number of people there that came to support him was
Mm,
awesome. And
yeah,
for him to deliver that way in front of them is like, whether he medaled or not, was just heroic. And
yeah,
yeah, this was an incredible victory for Kazakhstan and Kazakh skating. And it's like kind of unbelievable that like he did this. It's like, crazy. I was thinking, like, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna get on the podium and get the bronze like Dennis Ten did, his idol? Because, like, he replicated Dennis's world silver medal when he was, like, exactly the same age to the day or some kind of spooky stat, but, like, crazy,
yeah.
crazy.
Cra Crazy, and also that it was so appropriate that Alexei Romanov is his
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah, yeah.
given what happened in '94 when Alexei Romanov
Yeah.
did a very similar thing where it was like,
Yeah.
people weren't expecting Alexei Romanov to win the Olympics,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he went and
Totally.
won the Olympics.
Yeah.
There were just all
Not
these other
Kurt,
people who
not
yeah,
Elvis, not
nope,
Brian.
nope, none of those.
Yeah.
Not
I
Victor,
heard Urmanov was
not
asking if he
Philly.
was the first Olympic champion to coach an Olympic champion, and I was like, Natalia Linachuk would like a word. But I do think it's the first time in men's or maybe in singles. I'm not sure. Um,
Interesting.
I'd have to do some historical research to confirm that. Definitely it's
Brian
been done in
Orser was
pairs and
close.
dance.
Brian
Yeah.
Orser was close.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting stat.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, Misha was he was the one who went out there, had like no pressure on him, was
Mhm.
like he was fifth after the short. He's like, I'm gonna do whatever I
Mhm.
can. Maybe I'll get on the podium. He gets on the podium.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a silver. He gets silver.
Yeah.
Maybe something will happen, and something
Yeah.
happened, and he won the whole thing friggin' thing. Like
Crazy.
it was really really was something.
Yeah.
Um, oof, so good, so good. And he was so happy, and he still owes
Yeah.
me a pin.
Oh, I think that Samodelkina made up for him
I
because you got the
mean,
pin of pins. You got the final boss pin
S
from her.
Sofia Samodelkina ran up to me on the ice, like, ran up to me. I was like, "I have a pin for you," and I'm like, "Okay, I just got into the and you need to go practice, girl. Like,
She
go
pulls out
practice."
she pulls out this pin. It's the size of like the Olympic gold medal. I mean, this is like a baseball size pin. And it's engraved and it is beautiful. It's like
So nice.
they just gave those away. She's just like, here you go.
No,
Yeah.
she had one of those, and she gave it to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It was
Um,
very nice of her.
that's wow.
I know.
Mhm. Fancy. What did you say? This is a pin.
It was a pin. Well, that was part one of our two-part Olympic recap. Thanks as always to John Wilson Blades for your sponsorship and to Tara Nichols for helping produce and edit this episode. This is Jackie Wong, Chief Skate Nerd of rockerskating.com, and we will have part two of the recap soon. Bye.